Hello, class, and welcome to week 15, topic 2. Topic 2 is just a brief set of slides that I put together for you that's an add-on and kind of finishes up our discussion of the follow-up. I think this brief discussion is titled Why Customer Satisfaction Isn't Enough. And it seems like the goal of many salespeople is to make sure the customer is satisfied, and certainly as customers, we want to be satisfied with our purchase and with the transaction and the way it was handled. But at the same time, we're thinking more long term. We've talked a lot about building customer relationships. So as soon as we start thinking about customer relationships, we have to start thinking that perhaps just providing a satisfying one-time experience for a customer is not enough. Customer satisfaction, as a kind of a brief review, is a measure of how satisfied a customer is with a product or service. Pretty simple, straightforward definition. But when we talk about it from a business standpoint, we're often using a thought of that it is a survey. It is a result of a survey, such as the one you see in the picture there. It's usually, when we talk about satisfaction, it's usually calculated using some kind of a survey, asking customers how they feel about their purchase. You've been asked this many times. On many of the online retailers will ask you this, perhaps after every transaction that you make. UPS will ask you, how did you like maybe how you like the delivery service. Amazon often asks that. Those satisfaction ratings are often, like I said, in terms of stars or in terms of some sort of a scale asking you to rate the experience from very good to not very good or something similar to that. So customer satisfaction is often we should think of it as a measure, a number, and then we can put it in terms of 4.5 stars out of 5 or something like that. So, but customer satisfaction isn't enough if you want repeat business for customers, or if you want referrals from customers, or if you're looking for testimonials for customers, some of the topics that we talked about in topic 1 for this week. You also need to think about some other terms and some other goals to achieve, and one of those is customer loyalty, and another one is customer advocacy. Customer loyalty describes a customer who's willing to buy a brand again and again. So we might be thinking of a branded product, or we might be thinking of you, the customer, the seller, the salesperson, as the brand, the one who if you're the brand, you want to develop a loyalty to you as a seller, and you want the customer loyalty. You want the customer to be willing to buy from you again and again. So think of yourself as a brand. Think of yourself in building your relationship with the customer as building a brand in the mind of that customer, a brand that they will want to buy again and again. When they think of a need, when they think of that solution that needs to be solved again in their company or in their home, they will think of you and the service that you can provide. So that's customer loyalty. Taking that a step further, we get to customer advocacy. And here's a slide that has again, one of those numbers that might be accurate. It may not be totally accurate, but I think we can certainly say with some certainty that customers with great experiences are more likely to become advocates. And maybe it's 75%, maybe it's a little bit less than that, maybe it's more than that. But being an advocate for your product is developing in the mind of customers. The advocacy approach is that they are going out, they're your fans, they're supporters of you, they're supporters of your brand, and they're willing to go out and become an advocate for your product. They're willing to go out and maybe these are the people that are best able to make it to be referrals for your product. to give testimonials. These are people who, when we think back a couple of, must have been 3 or 4 class sessions ago, when we talked a little bit about the diffusion of innovation, how new products have some innovators, the very first persons who buy a product, to the early adopters, and all the way to the very last people who would adopt a new product would be, the late adopters. Thinking of, for new products and new services that you're selling, you need people who are able to give information to that next group of buyers. And these are people who are advocates of your product. They not only like the product, they like the service, they like the total package that they're able to get by doing business with you. So when we say that customer satisfaction isn't enough, I think what the message there is that maybe that's a good starting place, is first to develop satisfied customers, then to develop them into becoming loyal customers, and finally to develop them into becoming advocates for us as the sellers and us for the products that our companies sell. And finally, I'd like to remind you that in Module 2, there's a video on the Net Promoter Score, the NPS process, which is discussed in the section, that'd be in section 14.2 of chapter 14. Why don't you take a look at that? It's got a nice description. It's a short video, and it'll give you a good handle on what that topic is all about.